Hey, what's up guys, Tom here. I hope you're doing great. So in this video we're gonna take a look how to create and how to manipulate lights and add some cinematic looks and dramatic atmosphere to your shot. You're going to learn how to use nodes and mask in Davinci Resolve. Whether you're an After Effects user, this technique can be applied to any software. Alright guys, I hope you've enjoyed it. So I'm just gonna break it down before we jump into doing our color grading. Alright, so this is the footage that we're going to use for this tutorial. And what we're gonna change is that we have 4 fluorescent lamps in the scene, and that is our main focus because we are going to change the looks of each light that we have. And this is our first one we have, and the second one is here. And we have two others and the other one which we cannot see. And what I love about Davinci Resolve is there's an amazing tools in the mask and the qualifier option that we're gonna use, and we can also do some tweaking that we can also separate some of the objects that we have so that much affected while doing our color grading. Alright guys, with that said, we're gonna get in and start doing our color grading. This is the node that I've used for my first video that I've showed you. So now we're gonna go to our clip that we're gonna use. As you can see that Davinci Resolve has already created a node for us. So now we're gonna create our second node. We're going to create a second node and we're gonna call that exposure. Let's call that exposure. And actually I'm going to increase a little bit of highlights, a little bit of exposure in the video because there's a lot of contrast that I'm seeing in the footage. I need to see some of the details that are in the video. Alright, I've increased my exposure of the gain, and I'm going to create another node, and this node I'm also going to add a parallel node to it, and I'm going to call the node that is here, I'm going to call it light 1. And the second one I'm gonna call it light 2. Alright, there we go. Sorry guys, there's a lot of noise in the background now. Alright, so now we have our first node and the second node, which is the light that we're gonna use. Alright, let's go to the qualifier options on the luminance. As soon as we just drag this down a little bit, let me check my highlights, just check that and see what we're doing. Alright, as soon as I just drag this down, you can see that it's actually selecting the highlight and the exposure that we have in the scene. Let's just soften it a little bit so that we can have that glassiness on the flow. And let's go also on the mask, and I'm going to select my second lamp that I have in the scene. I'm just gonna create a mask around it, and then we also have to soften the edges, just soften that a little bit. Alright, let's go to the tracking and we're gonna track that down. Alright, there we go. So let's go back to our first light, and then we're gonna go back again to the luminance on the qualifier. We're gonna bring that down, soften the edges a little bit, and now we're also gonna use the mask for this one. Let me just see what I'm doing. I'll create a mask somewhere around here. Alright, and we're gonna track that down as well. Alright guys, there we have it. So there's one thing that we have realized, that the tracking have gone out of frame, and we can fix that. So let's go back to the frame. Still on the tracking option, we're just gonna have to fix that a little bit. Just bring it here. Then let's go back in frame a little bit. Just have to fix that. Alright guys, so now we are good to go. Alright guys, we have selected our lights using the qualifier options in Davinci Resolve. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna change the light of each fluorescent lamp that we have in this scene. So now I'm gonna go to the first one, and then go on the temperature and just increase the size of that a little bit. Just bring the size up, and then go on the tint, and then just gonna see what we're going to create from there. Alright, as you can see, we're good to go, and then we're gonna go to our second light, and then we're gonna just bring it down a little bit, and then the tint as well. Alright, there we go. Just with 2 nodes, we have already created something amazing. Alright, so now we're gonna add another node. Let's add another node, and this node I'm still going back to my luminance. I'm just gonna bring this down, and let's just check the highlight and see what we're doing. I'm gonna bring it down, and I've already selected this part. This is what I need. Alright, and let's go back to our temperatures, and then we're gonna bring it down. Just bring it down. Alright, so now we just have to bring it down a little bit. Alright, there we're good to go. And now we're gonna create another node, and then we're gonna create another node, and this one I'm gonna call it color grading. I'm gonna call it color. This is where we're gonna do our color grading. I'm gonna call it color grading, and now we're gonna create another node, and then this one I'm gonna call it let's just call it exposure 2, just a way of saying it. So now I'm gonna bring down my game. I'm going to bring down my game. As you can see, I'm bringing down my gamer. I'm exposing this to lamp to have more dynamic range in what we are creating. Alright, I'm just gonna bring down my gamer, and we still have to go back to this node. Let's create another node, and then we still have to use the qualifier options. I hope you guys are not getting tired of this, but I'm sure you are enjoying, right? So let's check our highlights. Gonna soften that down a little bit, and then we're only going to select this part, and there we go. And because we have selected the part that we need in the scene, let's go to our gamer, and then we're gonna increase the gain just a little bit, not too much. We're gonna increase the gain and the gain a little bit, and then let's see, we have actually increased a little bit of exposure to our lamp. A little bit of light to our lamp, just increase a little bit. Alright, and this is the before and after. We're good. Alright guys, so now we have done with the big part in the video, which was changing the light and all that, bringing down the exposure. We have done with that. So what we're gonna do now, we're going to color grading our scene. So let's go on the gain, just gonna go a little bit here. And the gain, we're gonna bring it down a little bit, not too much, just a little bit. Alright, we're good to go. So now there's other thing that we need to add is, let's create another node, and for this one let's gonna open up, and for this one we're gonna go and look for raise light. And now we're gonna bring it down just a little bit. Length, not too much. Let's just soften that down a bit. As you can see, we have done something amazing. Alright, last thing that we need to do on this node, let's create another parallel node. Alright, so and then let's go back to our mask. We're gonna bring this down. What I'm trying to do now is I'm just trying to add some more shadow to the scene so they can be more cinematic. Go back to the gamer, go back to the gain, and then we're gonna bring it down a little bit, and then let's create another one. I'm gonna bring it this side, and now we're going to add a little bit of exposure. Alright, and the last 3 nodes that we need to do is, so what we're gonna do now, we're gonna create another node. Let's create another node, and on this node I'm just going to increase my sharpness, this image, just gonna bring it about here, and then let's create another node, and then this one I'm gonna call it drain. I'll call it drain. I think 35mm is good to go. Let's just zoom in and see what changes we need. We need to increase the grain size a little bit and the strength. Alright, we're good to go. And one last note we're going to do is we're going to saturate this image just down a little bit. We're gonna bring it down about 80. It's about 45. I think 80, good to go. This is amazing. Alright guys, so now alright guys, so now you have seen from what we have. Alright guys, as you can see what we have done to create this amazing color grading, and I'm sure you guys have learned a lot of stuff from this. Let's just go back and see what we have done so far. I'm just gonna go and select all my notes and Alt-D just to bring them down, and then we have our exposure, we have our first lights, second lights, and then we have this node as well, and then we have another node just to increase the highlights, just to increase the strength of lights on the lamp, and we have our color grading, and this was just to bring down so that we can actually have more dynamic range on the light. And then we have this node here, which is our raise light, and then we have another node just to darken the side of the footage to create that cinematic look, and now we have another one just to bring the exposure up, just it softens to create that cinematic look as well. And then we have our sharpness, we have our grain, and then we have our saturation to bring that to a cinematic look. And I'm sure you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. So guys, if there's anything else that you want to see about Davinci Resolve, leave a comment down below. I'm gonna come quick to that, and then we're gonna discuss what we're gonna do. This is a family, guys. We need to grow together. So subscribe to the channel, give me a like, and then go on my Instagram. I'm posting a lot of cool stuff that will help you to get more inspired daily basis. That is amazing for you guys to go and check it out. Alright guys, this is where we're gonna stop, and then I will see you guys in the next tutorial. Peace.